So budget type, when we look at this, if the type of value, so back here, if it's one of these four over on the right, if it's one of those four, then the budget type argument comes into play. And if you leave that out, or just put in double quotes, we're going to assume that you want whatever your first budget type is in the list of 10 possible budget types. Otherwise, you have to put in the full text of whatever budget type you're after. Okay. Partner ID also is optional. This is for partner-based statements. So for companies that do have partners set up, and then in the fiscal settings, they've identified partners and ownership percentages. This will allow us to pass in a partner ID, and it does all the math necessary to figure out that partner's percentage of whatever financial value we're after, even including consolidation among multiple prefixes. And again, when we're talking about all of these arguments, all of these can certainly be references to cells containing those values, or they can be literal values just typed in into the formula. All right. The last one, which I think is kind of exciting, is a data folder. So if we don't specify a data folder, it's going to use the data folder that's associated already with the workbook, and we made a connection using Office Connector. If we do specify a data folder, then it's going to connect to that other data folder and read the financial values from there. Some things to consider, of course, is that we're making some assumptions in that process that will work if you're consolidating, that is. If you're consolidating values from, say, two data folders, we're assuming they probably have the same chart of accounts. It makes sense to do that. Otherwise, you probably want to put those values in separate columns or something like that. It'll still do all the navigation of period end dates and prefixes and all that stuff as it would per data folder, and then consolidate them. So you notice that this can be with blank for the current data folder, a single data folder path, that'd be like the UNC path, the folder, or even a range of cells containing a list of data folders. So that makes it really handy for consolidating folders together. And we know that this is something that users have asked for in the past, where maybe the company converted off of another system where their data was split up into separate folders per company. The ideal way that they would have been implemented with Page 300 would have been to create a multi-company ledger and have it all in one folder with a prefix for the company, but for whatever reason, they didn't do that. You have the data split into multiple data folders. Well, now they're kind of stuck in the respects that they can't consolidate. Well, with this, they can. So that's why I think it's a pretty exciting capability. One thing to be aware of with this particular argument is, for the time being, we are dealing with a limitation of the ODBC driver. It has to do with how we're querying the other data folder. But the limitation is that the data folder path cannot be more than 68 characters in length, or this will not work. So do keep that in mind. That's not going to be a permanent long-term limitation, but that is the case right now.